A long time ago, on a snowy Christmas day, there was a brave and kind-hearted girl named Clara. She was waiting for her uncle, Herr Drosselmeyer. Uncle Dross was a genius inventor. Every Christmas, he brought amazing gifts for Clara and her brother Fritz.
I wonder what Uncle Dross is getting us this year.
Knock knock! Herr Drosselmeyer is here with the gifts. Uncle Dross gave Fritz a huge dollhouse with a pair of beautiful dancing dolls. For Clara, he gave a silly Nutcracker doll with large teeth. Clara enjoyed cracking nuts with the Nutcracker by pulling and pushing the cake. Because she was having so much fun with the Nutcracker, Fritz got envious. He grabbed a handful of marbles and took the Nutcracker.
I want to try too!
Fritz recklessly put the marbles in the Nutcracker's mouth, and eventually, the hard marbles broke the Nutcracker's teeth.
Fritz, stop! What are you doing?
Clara was very sad that her Nutcracker was broken. So she went back to her room and wrapped it with her favorite scarf.
I'm sorry, dear Nutcracker.
Clara fell asleep while she was sobbing and holding her Nutcracker tightly. The clock rang midnight, and between the clock chimes, Clara heard several rustles. When Clara opened her eyes, there was the seven-headed Mouse King by her footstand, and the floor was full of mice. Clara was very surprised. Then she heard the Nutcracker shouting at the Mouse King.
Mouse King, I will slay you and break my curse!
Mouse King shouted back, showing his vicious fangs.
Ha! You will be doomed, Nutcracker!
The toy soldiers started to shoot candy cannons, and the mice bit everything in their way with their sharp fangs. The Nutcracker and the toy soldiers fought bravely, yet there were too many mice. The Nutcracker was cornered by the Mouse King and his mice army. Clara was very scared, but she couldn't let the Nutcracker be defeated.
You evil mouse, leave never crack.
Clara took her slipper and threw it at the Mouse King. The slipper hit the Mouse King's head.
This is not over yet.
The Mouse King was heavily injured, and he ran away with his army.
Thank you so much, Miss Clara.
The Nutcracker bowed towards Clara and thanked her. Then he asked something with hesitation.
Don't you hate me because of how I look?
Huh? Not at all. Why would I hate somebody as brave as you are?
As Clara and the Nutcracker exchanged a warm-hearted smile, Clara fell asleep. The next morning, as soon as Clara woke up, she checked on the Nutcracker beside her. The Nutcracker didn't move or talk. It seemed to be just a normal doll.
Uncle Dross, I have something to tell you.
Clara ran to Uncle Dross and told him about the magical events that happened last night. Uncle Dross listened to Clara very carefully, paused for a moment, then looked around to make sure that no one else was there.
Clara, I have a secret to tell you about the Nutcracker. Listen carefully. A long, long time ago, in the Toy Kingdom, there was a beautiful toy castle made of fancy marbles and a touch of magic. However, inside of the beautiful castle, there were too many mice. The mice would poop everywhere and steal food from the kitchens. The people of the castle suffered from mice's mischief, so the king of the Toy Kingdom ordered all the mice to be captured and removed. Then, a wise toy maker of the kingdom came along and created a very intricate mousetrap. Yes, it was a masterpiece, you could say. So, anyway, a lot of mice were trapped by the mousetrap, and even the Mouse King's young son was trapped and killed. Full of sadness and anger, Mouse King vowed to take revenge for his young prince. On the Toy Kingdom princess's birthday, there was a huge party in the castle. Everyone in the Toy Kingdom celebrated the princess and her family. Suddenly, in the middle of the party, the Mouse King appeared. He pointed his sharp fist with the lightning. Princess turned into the shape of a silly doll.
You will forever be doomed with that face until you die.
The Mouse King disappeared afterwards, and he was never to be seen again in the Toy Kingdom. The king and the queen were very frightened, and they ordered all of their lieges to find a way to break his daughter's curse. One astronomer came up with a solution, but it was a very complicated one. A young man who has never grown a beard before or worn a pair of boots had to crack open a hard-shell walnut and give it to the princess to eat. The toy maker was very concerned, as if the princess's curse was his fault. Then, when the toy maker heard about the astronomer's solution, he thought of his nephew from the Cookie Castle. His nephew was a fine young man with a warm heart, willing to help others. The toy maker brought his nephew to the toy castle.
If he is able to lift my daughter's curse, I will reward him with many treasures.
The toy maker's nephew cracked a hard walnut and gave it to the princess. Once the princess ate the walnut, however, the princess's curse was not gone. It transferred to the toy maker's nephew. The nephew's jaw and teeth got bigger, and his handsome face turned ridiculous. Once the young man became an ugly nutcracker, the princess kicked him out from the castle without any rewards, saying that he was too ugly to look at.
Clara listened to Uncle Dross very carefully. Then suddenly, she realized something.
Uncle Dross, you're the wise toy maker for the story, right? And the Nutcracker is your nephew, isn't he?
As she thought of her Nutcracker doll.
If I were the princess, I would have thanked him to give him all the presents.
Uncle Dross put a huge grin on his face.
My dear Clara, thank you for liking the Nutcracker so much. Could you get a nice sword for the Nutcracker before midnight? If you could, he might be able to defeat the Mouse King.
Clara was determined to help the Nutcracker.
Of course, don't worry, Uncle Dross.
Clara wanted to get the Nutcracker a good sword so that he could fight well with the Mouse King. She started to consider all the options.
And what great, this clock hand will be a great sword.
Clara took out a clock hand from the grandfather clock and put it in the Nutcracker's hand. The clock hand sword was a perfect fit for the Nutcracker. The dark night came, and the clock bells started to ring midnight. Then, from the darkness, Mouse King and his mice army appeared. The Nutcracker stood confidently in front of the mice army and shouted at the Mouse King.
I will defeat you and break my curse today, Mouse King!
It won't be as you wish, Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker had the clock hand sword in his hand, with the Nutcracker as their leader. The toy soldiers fought bravely, and they finally won. After his victory, the Nutcracker approached Clara and bowed to her.
Miss Clara, thank you for helping me and cheering for me despite my looks.
I'd like to invite you to the Cookie Castle. Would you like to come with me?
The Nutcracker reached for Clara's hand, and Clara held the Nutcracker's hand in return. When they got to the Toy Kingdom, Clara was delighted by the beautiful scenery. The Nutcracker and Clara rode a snow-white unicorn and passed through the castle candy meadow. The crystal candies were glittering in rainbow colors, and right next to them, there was a river of sweet and sour lemonade. The two passed by the fragrant and colorful fruit jam forest, then finally reached the Cookie Castle. The Nutcracker and Clara went, then suddenly, the Nutcracker started to sparkle and returned to his original body. Clara looked at the Nutcracker, now a tall and handsome young man, and congratulated him with her whole heart.
I am so happy for you all you finally broke your curse.
Miss Clara, I wouldn't have if it weren't for your help. Thank you so much.
The young man thanked Clara, and he invited Clara for a dance. As Clara was dancing along with the beautiful music, she was enchanted by everything around her, and she felt as if she was dreaming.
Miss Clara, please don't forget this day even after you return to your world.
When Clara woke up in the morning, she ran to Uncle Dross and told him about the good news of his nephew. However, Uncle Dross acted awkwardly and tried to quiet Clara.
Clara, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure that was a really important secret, right?
Huh? What do you mean, Uncle Dross?
Uncle Dross winked at Clara, but she didn't notice. Clara tried telling her mom, Dad, and even Fritz, but nobody believed what she was saying.
Was that really all just a dream?
It wasn't until a long, long time after that Clara realized that the two dancing dolls, which Uncle Dross made for the dollhouse, looked exactly like the Nutcracker and Clara.